What if I told you one of America's most principled leaders didn't do his greatest work as president? What if his most important fight came after he left the White House? Today, we're telling the story of John Quincy Adams, a man who spent his entire life in service and never stopped fighting for what he believed was right. John Quincy Adams was born in 1767 in Massachusetts, right as tensions with Great Britain were rising. His father was John Adams, founding father and future president. His mother, Abigail Adams, was strong, wise, and devoted to raising him well. As a young boy, John Quincy stood on a hill near his home and watched the Battle of Bunker Hill. He didn't learn about the Revolution later. He saw it with his own eyes. By age 10, he was traveling to Europe with his father. His life of service had already begun. He attended Harvard University and graduated in 1787. He studied law, but soon entered public service. As a young man, he became a diplomat in Europe, serving in places like the Netherlands, Prussia, and Russia. He built a reputation for discipline, intelligence, and independence. He wasn't just following his father's path, he was building his own. Adams served in the U.S. Senate, but his greatest early impact came as Secretary of State. He served under James Monroe. He helped negotiate the Treaty of Ghent, ending the War of 1812. And he helped shape the Monroe Doctrine, a policy that warned Europe to stay out of the Americas. Many historians still consider him one of our greatest Secretaries of State. In 1824, he ran for president in one of the most unusual elections in U.S. history. No candidate won a majority. So, the House of Representatives made the final decision. With support from Henry Clay, Adams became president. But critics called it a corrupt bargain. As president, he pushed for roads and canals, scientific progress, and a national university. He believed the country should grow, not just in size, but in knowledge. But political opposition was strong, and much of his vision never took hold. In 1828, he lost re-election to Andrew Jackson. Now here's where the story turns. Most presidents retire after leaving office. John Quincy Adams did not. He returned to Washington as a member of the House of Representatives, and he served for 17 more years. They called him Old Man Eloquent. During this time, he took on one of the greatest issues of his day, slavery. He fought the gag rule, which tried to silence debate, and in one of his most famous moments, he stood before the Supreme Court to defend the Africans from the Amistad case. He argued for their freedom, and he won. In 1848, while still serving in Congress, Adams collapsed on the floor of the House. He was carried out and passed away shortly after. He had served his country nearly his entire life. So, let's go back to the question, what if a man's greatest work didn't happen in the White House? For John Quincy Adams, it didn't. His legacy wasn't just the presidency, it was a lifetime of steady service. And he reminds us that leadership isn't always about power. Sometimes it's about principle. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, give it a like. If you want to see more, subscribe to Patriot Hippie. It's free. And also, don't forget to share with your friends. Until next time, peace, freedom, and the American story.